Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You're listening to Spin Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I am one of your hosts, Ryan Sliwinski.
And I am Bartek.
Hey, Bartek, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, okay, I'm very good. You seem very confident. We're doing our show, Bartek, the show in which we present to the audience, the listening people at home or on the bus or in a grave, the show in which they could be dead. A show in which we provide a feature-length audio commentary tracks for the movies that seemingly don't deserve the commentary tracks. The movies that society has shunned, put in a shallow grave next to the listening person. And we are here to counter society, counter the ratings of critics and audiences alike, and say, hey, this movie is definitely not a 6.7, but a 10. And that's what we're here to do. Bartek, why we spin polish? What's that all about? For those people who haven't listened before.
We are spit and Polish because we are always spitting, except when we record, except sometimes, and we both happen to be Polish.
That's correct, Bartek. I mean, Bartek, that's definitely not a Romanian name.
No, definitely not. It's
Possibly...
it's very Warszawa.
Exactly, whatever that means. So, Bartek, what's the movie we're watching? Because I don't know.
We are watching Waga Ciężka.
Repeat that?
Waga Ciężka.
Vaga?
Waga
Ciężka?
Ciężka.
Ciężka. Vaga's trench coat. Okay, so what's that? I don't speak Polish. Even though I am Polish, don't speak the language. I just haven't unlocked that ability yet in the game.
Waga means...
Game's life.
Means wait.
Okay.
Weights.
Like weights as in I'm waiting?
As in the thing that you use at the gym.
Oh,
those kind of weights.
That you use at the gym. Yeah.
That I did use at the gym when I went for a bit.
Okay. And
in 2014. I say in 2019. And ciężka means heavy.
Oh, we're watching Weight Heavy?
Weight's heavy.
Weight's Heavy. My favorite movie, Weight's Heavy. So what is that in English properly? Like, what are we actually watching? Because that's not the name of the movie, is it? We're actually watching Weight's Heavy.
No. Just like every non-English language, those primitive word speaks, they do the thing where they mix up the words in the sentences, so they're not in the way we do it in English. So in actuality, since there are only two words, just put them the other way around. Heavyweights.
Heavyweights?
Heavyweights.
The Heavyweights?
Yes.
The Disney film?
Yes.
Oh my god, about the fat kids going to fat camps?
From 1995, yes.
Yes. Bartek, we have a guest.
We do have a guest.
Is the guest a fitness instructor that's working at a fat camp during the summer? Is it Tony Perkins?
Before we started recording, I heard they say they have a new job, but I didn't hear what it is, so it could be. Our guest is returning guest Sam Corr.
Sam Core Strength Core. How are you?
It's your boy.
It's so
Mr. fucking Sammy. Back from the dead.
Is that what the doctor said when you were being born?
Well,
when he was being born.
They put me back in and then pulled me out the second time.
When he was being born, he's dead. Put him back.
I thought to say that when you said it's your boy Sam Corr, but then you said back from the dead. I'm like, I'll still go with it.
Back from the dead. Last time I was here, we tackled 101 Dalmatians.
Which was also a Disney film.
I'm seeing a trend here.
I didn't mean this for a trend. I didn't think about this being a Disney movie.
Apparently I'm the Disney guy.
We had a friend once who, every time we had him on for a while, we only picked films that were set in the desert or had scenes in the desert. So like, oh, I guess you're the desert guy.
You're the sand boy.
I'll take it.
So you're the Disney boy. So you people at home or in your grave need to grab a copy, huh?
You people.
My people.
You know who you are. Sam's people have to have a copy of the film Heavyweights. Get it ready. Put it in whatever device you're watching it on. And get ready, because I'm going to do a countdown from 3 down to 1. I'm going to say play. You're going to press play, and we'll be lined up as we speak about the movie that is Heavyweights. So get ready, because I'm going to start this in 3, 2, 1, play. So, Sam, I did not intend you to be the Disney guy, but I did not realize that this was a Disney film, because I'm the one here who suggested this movie for us to do. I was like, we need to get Sam Corr back on. What movie do I think we need to do with him? And I was just like looking through these movies on our list and stuff. I was like, you know what would be a good one? Heavyweights. It's got like a really fun atmosphere, and it's just Ben Stiller being crazy.
I'm fine with being the Disney guy, providing that the next one that we watch is Mulan.
Mulan? the live action remake that they're eventually going to do.
Was The Emperor's New Groove a Disney
Yes, it
movie?
was.
Oh, no, that's
with
the
our
next
homeboy
one.
David Spade.
Oh, that's an
John
all-star.
Goodman. Yes, please.
I gotta say straight away, that took me back. It kind of did the intro thing, and then straight away it just said heavyweights.
Yeah,
Just,
but
Yeah, really quick.
by the way, we're watching heavyweights. and it's
yeah,
like,
it's not.
I know,
It's not bullshitting around. A kid's got a tie-dye
we're
shirt
like,
on.
We're
You
like
know it's
30
the 90s.
seconds into this. I remember.
Exact mullets everywhere. You know.
Yeah, that's a filthy mullet.
You're jealous.
And there's a kid on the roof.
I mean, why wouldn't there be?
I hope it's a kid.
I
You
got
sure it's not the
really,
janitor?
really. I'm not sure, but I got really jazzed when I saw some names of people, and there was a person in the titles, David, and I was like,
Bowie.
David
Oh.
Bowie's in it, and then it's
Yeah.
like, no, it's David Bowie. Don't get confused, you idiot. I'm like, if David Bowie turned up in this movie as like Ben Stiller's dad, that would have been great.
But it's
Right.
right.
So for a movie like where the whole recurring joke is that like they're fat, there sure is a lot of running.
well, you know
They
what?
pull off some long distance.
kept
I
up
couldn't-
with the
I
bus.
couldn't do that. He's
Well-
keeping up with the bus.
Well, you know what though? The guy in real life, thin now.
Get out of town.
as an
That's
adult-
cheating, but alright.
I mean, he ran after the bus so much, he lost weight.
Too many takes.
Too many takes.
They
Yeah,
had to-
exactly.
they had to film that scene last.
You know Owen Wilson,
I know
the
of
actor.
him. I know
He
of
has an older brother called Luke Wilson.
Yes.
No.
And
Luke
he-
Wilson's the younger brother.
You're-
Andrew Wilson's the older.
You're a fucking liar.
Oh,
Luke's not the
Andrew.
youngest, is he? Okay,
I thought
Luke.
he is.
Luke Wilson's the brother of Owen Wilson, and he's in films like Idiocracy, and they call him One Take Wilson because he is so good at acting that they only need one take. This kid, Many Takes Sam, whatever his name is.
Aaron.
Many Takes Aaron, they call him. He just needs so many takes to get through a running sequence. This dog's fat too. Did anyone
dog's
note that
really-
down?
He goes
Oh,
to
yeah.
dog fat camp.
He was dead
That's the
before the
sequel.
movie even premiered. Usually, last time we had you on, I said in 101 Dalmatians that I worked out the maths and all the dogs in that movie would be dead by now, including the puppies. And you're like,
Yeah.
why did you have to tell me that?
Yeah, I'm still recovering.
in
from
this, that dog would have been dead before the premiere.
Why do you do this every time?
He's so fat.
He actually does. Yeah.
He's so fat.
This opening sequence is obviously just kind of like, look, in a day in the life of, and something about this,
Well-
him just smashing a whole jug of lemonade.
Well, it's not just the day in life; it's
Grossly.
also the day in the life of the last day of school.
It's
You know, and it's a very special. You know, when you're at school and it was the last day and you finally get to go on the big break. There's always that kind of special aura about it. Like, yeah, we get to
Yeah.
be crazy, and yeah, I get to run and do all this crazy stuff because now I'm free. And then you come home and your parents are sitting there, and Tim Blake Nelson standing in your lounge room going,
yeah.
"Hey there, kitty, you want to go to fat camp?" And you're like, "My dad's Dr. Phil. I don't know what's going on."
That's it. See, when you I mentioned this briefly before, but when you told me what movie we were going to be watching,
Yeah.
and I looked it up and I was like, okay, Ben Stiller, like this.
So no, you have no history with this movie.
No, none. But I mean, Ben Stiller, I was like, well, that's pretty safe. And then all throughout, and in that opening sequence, I was like, I don't really remember any of these names in the credits. But then so many times throughout this movie,
You're like, oh, that person, right?
it's like, oh my god, there's that, and I can't. He pops up, and I'm like, it's the
Buster
guy
Scruggs.
from. Oh no, a worse reference than that. It's the guy from the Ed Norton Hulk.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Mr. Blue.
Yeah. That's
Samuel
him.
Stearns.
Yep. It's
He
all
was-
happening.
And
That's George's dad from Seinfeld.
course.
Those
Of
are
course.
Ben Stiller's real life parents.
get out of town. Both
Jerry
of them.
Stiller and that's the mum, yeah, and
Wow.
Jeffrey Tambor here is known for being the father in Arrested Development or the grandfather,
Yes, I do recall.
and also the dad in the Hangover movies. Like, it's like
Yeah.
don't get chlamydia or whatever. Like so.
herpes.
Oh,
What happens in
herpes.
Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. So
Except
a
for herpes.
lot of famous or soon-to-be famous people are in this too. Like this was written by Judd Apatow, who's known for doing all those movies like 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up.
Right, and I did notice the director
Yeah.
did the Mighty Ducks.
Everyone's favorite ducks, the
That's
mighty
right,
kind.
the mightiest.
So Bartek, what was your history with this movie? Did you have any?
No, I hadn't heard of it. So in fact, when you told me what the film was, it just went over my head. It's like, okay, we're doing an episode at this time. All right.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, the day before, I'll check what the film is. And Yeah.
Now, Bartek,
Yep.
we recently did a film called Fido on our monthly show.
Yes.
And that had Tim Blake Nelson in it. And he's here in this movie, and you were not as familiar with him as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to see him again so soon?
He was the villain, right? Or
No, he was the next door neighbor.
Oh, the sleazy one.
In the film Fido that has Billy Connolly as a zombie.
Oh,
he's
right.
he's Mr. Giannopoulos, who's like a sleazy guy who sleeps with zombies.
What the?
His zombie girl.
I mean, look at
my
him.
people.
If you see not this fat kid, but the sleazy guy who's selling the fat camp, he looks like a guy who would sleep with zombies. And he recently was in the Coen Brothers movie that's on Netflix, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. He played Buster Scruggs. Yeah, it's an entertaining history. So my history with this movie, guys, is I have seen this movie many a times, never in full completion. Because
Alright.
this is one of those
Really?
movies that you would find on TV on Channel 7 in Australia, and you just tuned in at 4:45, and you're there for like the last 20 minutes to maybe the last hour of it, and you go, oh yeah, I love this movie. This is the one where Ben Stiller's a crazy guy that runs the fat camp.
I don't know how I missed it all these years.
Man, you just missed out, you know, you were just blind.
I gotta say, almost immediately I noticed this kind of recurring theme where they really like to do those shots. You see him before when he's chatting in the lounge room and he's like, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going. And the next shot is him going.
Yeah.
And then there's another one.
It's called great
Just
editing.
everyone keep that in mind because that's something that they like to do a lot in this
It's just
movie.
called good. It's called good editing,
They're
man.
very, very shameless with their bait and switch.
Well, it's
shots.
just great editing, you know. It's just slap bang boom. This is fantastic filmmaking. Bartek, it's your boy Kenan Thompson.
Who?
Kenan Thompson.
Never heard of him.
Oh, Kel.
Kenan
the
Thompson
fame-
playing Kel.
Your favorite boy from Big Fat Liar, Kenan Thompson.
Yep.
And
he was Fat Albert too.
he was Fat Albert.
Oh my god, he was.
And he's also in a lot of Saturday Night Live as well. He's
I read
still
a
there
trivia point that
today.
apparently he's like the longest.
Running guy
guy or
because
something,
no
yeah.
one can get rid of him. He's like a tick.
Now this was one I wanted to. I didn't want to like spoil too much of this
Sure.
myself by looking it up, but I figured I'd ask you guys.
Sure. Is he fat? Yes.
Oh, well there we go. All right, I'll see you guys
Spoiler
later.
alert.
No, he was one where I'm staring at him going, I've seen him. He's great. He's great in this too.
Yes.
he's definitely one of the higher points, especially on an
Yeah.
acting level.
That's
Definitely.
correct.
What the hell else have I seen him in?
He's been in a bunch of stuff. I'm pretty sure he was in Billy Madison.
It says here the actor's name is Tom McGowan.
Tom McGowan. Yeah, I actually did
Billy
look him up.
Madison.
I swear he's a part of that stable. He's just like I did look him up, but I can't remember off the top of my head. He's just kind of in everything.
I mean, to be honest, I thought of Billy Madison when I saw him, but that's because he's driving a bus.
That's right. It's
Maybe-
not,
maybe
it's
I-
not,
It's not Chris
driver.
Farley though.
No.
Maybe I looked at him and I was like, yeah, Sky High. There's a bus driver in that too. What is it with bus drivers being fat and
See,
everything?
It's a movie about fat camp, so they had to have the one shot with all the.
Oh, no.
Macca's,
That's just
Taco
America.
Bell.
That's just America,
Oh,
man.
my mistake.
Your mistake.
Sorry.
Your mistake. This is 1990s America.
Silly
Very
me.
different to a nowadays America,
That's
What was
just
I
in which
thinking?
there would be a subway.
that's just town hall. That's just town hall's front yard.
That's just Town Hall's front yard. So you two, not having a history with this movie, having not seen it, what were you kind of expecting from this? What were you kind of going into with this?
Well, I guess because when I went to find it online, all I saw was the poster, but it was like a small one, so I didn't really get
Is
to
that the
see.
one where they were holding the dude up in the sandwich above
Yeah,
the head?
and the dude's not Ben Stiller, right?
No.
It's Paul Feig, who I guess is the antagonist, according to the poster.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, and so I looked at it. It was small, so I didn't look too closely at it. I'm like, oh, there's some people holding something up, and there's the title Heavyweight, so I really had no idea what it was about. So when it started off in like a high school kid getting out, I'm like, oh, okay, so it's not about. I'm sure it's not about like world class boxing or anything like that. And then he got shown the video, and it's like, oh, okay, it's a fat camp film. And then, but
I like how you say that with like such assuredness, like, oh, those famous fat camp
it's
movies.
just another one of these.
Well, it's a camp film, but specifically fat camp. And I didn't know if it was going to be like, oh, are we going to have like a fun one, or is it going to be like a Camp Krusty kind of deal?
Oh, and what did it turn out to be? Can you imagine a whole movie where it's just about these kids going to a fun camp? and no conflict comes.
It is a little bit
Home
of a Camp
videos.
Krusty, huh?
Yeah, Camp Krusty,
Definitely.
Camp Fred.
Yeah, and basically, yeah, when they were showing the video, I'm like, okay, is this going to be like a bait and switch thing? But then when he met Kenan Thompson there, and he was all into it, and everyone's really into it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, this can't, they're not trying to trick
But then
him,
you saw
right?
Ben Stiller's name in the credits earlier, and you're like, no, stuff's going to go bad because Ben Stiller's here.
See, I had no idea. You were like, the movie's heavyweights, and I was like, well, that could be anything.
And I said,
then-
it's got Ben Stiller in it.
Anything except lightweights, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then we were chatting, and then we were like, okay, it's gonna be this day and this time, and then we were like, cool, see you there, man. Like, I'm really jazzed about it. I'm really excited about it. And you sent me back the GIF of Ben Stiller running down the aisle doing the high fives to both sides.
And no one's high-fiving him.
I mean, look, seeing it now in the movie, it makes sense. But at the time, I'm looking at my phone, this tiny little GIF, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And honestly, I was like looking at it, going, is he like a what do you call those guys in like a wrestling ring, like the promoter that come on and they're like, in the red corner. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
the announcers.
is it like a boxing movie or something? Is he like a
referee or something?
Yeah,
I also knew
idea.
that Sam had no idea because he stopped responding after I said that. He was like, no more responses from me.
That's typically
Scene
how
8:02
conversations end with you,
PM.
Ryan. We talk about something, you send a GIF related to it, and then no one says anything.
Yeah, exactly. I make reference to the thing that only I have seen. And people are like, well, I don't want to reference in response because I don't know what the fuck that image is or what that quote is. Can we talk about Tony Soprano Jr. here and how great he was in this movie? This guy's like a little fat Tony.
Oh,
Is this Josh?
Joshy boy.
that's correct. He may he rest in peace. I saw him on the way here.
Did he die?
I asked him if he wanted to come. He said no.
He said, no, I'm
said
too
no.
busy
Yeah.
eating.
It says here the actor's name is Sean Weiss.
Sean Wise, huh? The most Italian name there is.
Yeah.
Like, he was great. I thought this guy was going to be in the movie far more, but then they decided, no, we're going to get rid of him for a little while
And then
and
bring
make
him
the
back.
audience think that he died, which was perfection, might I add. So, this is one of those movies that I'd never seen in full 100% mode, but I remembered Ben Stiller's performance, and I remember very vividly when Dodgeball came out. Everyone loved Dodgeball.
Iconic.
That movie's kind of unappreciated now because people kind of don't talk about that movie anymore.
They should.
And people kind of look at it like, meh. But I remember that movie was quoted by everyone. Everyone was quoting so many things from Dodgeball, and Ben Stiller's character was like one of the most popular characters since Dr. Evil for
Oh yeah.
and stuff like that. And now people don't talk about it. But I remember seeing Dodgeball, and I was just like, oh, he's playing his character from Heavyweights. And he kind of is.
That's true.
It's just the
That's-
character
I
like
can
10
see
years
that.
earlier. It's
I need to go.
it's a very similar voice and very similar arrogant attitude, except for, Tony Perkis, he has a little bit more tragedy to him because you kind of understand why he is the way he is on a level. While Dodgeball one, he was fat once and then he lost a lot of weight, and that's kind of like, I'm simplifying it, but this one has like more daddy issues, and then Ben Stiller turns up as his own father, even though Jerry Stiller was in the movie. To be like, oh, have you ever had that happen, guys? Where chocolate's melted on you, and then your friend eats it off you?
This is not sanitary.
Yeah, did you find it yummy though?
No, it's never happened to me. Tape doesn't like me that much.
What, oh, because you're hairy? Is that why? Or when you were a kid, tape just was racist to you because you're Polish?
Well, you know how guys are. We're always going around oily and stuff like that,
And hiding
At the beach.
salami in our back pocket.
so it doesn't stick on you.
Now, I want to say this. Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I might be generalizing, but here in Australia, the whole camp thing, summer camp or like getaway holiday camp is not a thing
Not
here.
really a thing.
Not
I
a
went
thing.
to Polish camp twice.
Okay, tell us about that.
Against my will.
Tell us about Polish camp, and was it in Poland?
No, it was here.
Okay, now you're really gonna fucking tell
That's-
me what the fuck is.
That's a mind
Do
blow.
they send you out to a camp and they make it snow on purpose so you know what it's like in Poland?
No, it was in Hillsville.
Where?
What?
Hillsville.
I don't know where
The
that
most
is.
Polish place in it.
That's
You
where
don't- you don't know
Hillsville
where
Sanctuary
Hillsville
I'm
is.
from New South Wales originally,
Yeah.
so I don't
Oh,
know
wow.
Victorian suburbs.
That's like, what, an hour or two drive from here?
Oh, I reckon it'd be an hour tops.
Well, you
Yeah.
see, he was a kid back then, so everything felt longer.
It's
Yeah.
So what the fuck is Polish camp? Is it like fat camp?
No, it's just a summer camp, but everyone's Polish.
And what do you do? Do you do Polish activities like eat Polish traditional foods and dance Polish dances? Like, what's the go?
I mean, other than the Polish language and like the camp song being in Polish,
It was a camp song. Do you
Yeah.
recall the song?
Was it the national anthem in Polish?
it wasn't the national anthem. I recall some of the lyrics. I can sing it later if you want.
I want it now, baby. you're leaving me waiting.
I promise. I promise. Yeah, it was just like general events. Like, we had cabins. There was like there are places around Healesville that you can go as a group. Like, there's a maze,
of course.
swimming pool, stuff like that.
But a Polish maze, where at the end of it there were Nazis waiting.
Well, Ryan, this is Australia. It wasn't a Polish maze or anything like
They
that.
constructed it for you. But just a detour off of that, we got to give an ovation to Jerry Stiller here. I mean, usually we're used to him playing nasty guys like George's dad or Zoolander's manager, but here he's actually quite sad and sympathetic, and he still gets his Jerry Stiller zinger where he's like, "Make sure you
The check thing.
Yeah, the check line. But it's interesting to see him being a kindly old man that people look up to, while in more other things he's kind of like the slimy guy that's always got a scheme or is grabbing women's asses going, tushy squeeze and stuff like that. But in this movie, he's like supposed to be like the kindest old man, and they make a mural out of him. I just thought, very sweet. So Pat, looking him up, he was a regular on Everybody Loves Raymond. He was one of his friends or co-workers. He was also a regular on Frasier.
Okay.
He was in Bad Santa.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of.
Bad Santa.
I don't know how much I want to admit that I've seen that movie.
He was in
but...
Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
Can't help you on that one.
Oh, you didn't love Sabrina? He was in The Birdcage, the Robin Williams movie.
This is really, I think, the point where the movie lifted for me.
Oh yeah, when Ben Stiller came in.
Because it was really optimistic up to this point.
Even the scene just then when he's like, "Never let anyone sign your checks," I was kind of like, "Oh."
Yeah, it's a real
that
like.
just kind of went
It's
up
like a
a
joke
couple
you have to
notches.
think about a bit more. Yeah.
I was kind of like, "Huh." That's funny.
It's becoming more mature, and then Ben Stiller's here with the greatest aesthetic behind him. The green and purple and blue aesthetic is just something to die for.
That was the other thing, is I wasn't sure. Again, when it was like, I guess I should have looked at the year it came out, but I wasn't sure what Ben Stiller was going to look like. I was like, is he going to be one of the kids? Like, I don't know. And then of course,
this movie came out in 1971.
I have no idea. So
A few weeks ago, we did The Cable Guy, which he directed and had minor
really?
appearances in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that was like a year after this.
I love
he
the
walks
idea
up
that
to the stage, and I was like, oh no, he's definitely a grown ass man. And then I was like, I wonder what he's going to look like. And he kind of spins around, and I was like, oh, it's just Ben Stiller.
what did you expect him
It's
to
just
turn
Ben Stiller doing
He's
Ben
not
Stiller.
Eddie Murphy or Mike Myers. He's not going to go prosthetic makeup and
That's true.
change. He
That's
just
true.
changes his hairstyle, and that's a kind of it, or has a mustache.
Talking about dodgeball stuff, look at that that's Globo Gym.
Which he exactly.
Big time.
And then he refers to the globe later on in the movie as an Icarus reference, which was great. Which was just so fucking great. I loved this was one of my favorite little gags just here, where he says like, "I'm gonna show you the light," but I love that before that he's set up that his father exists, and his father is known for being a light fixture king, and all the lights in the camp are from him, and he's just like, and then the chandelier comes down, and I just love that it's just like a little touch that you didn't need in the movie, but it adds so much to the nuance of Tony Perkis, which is our main antagonist. And a lot of kids' movies these days would not have an antagonist like Tony Perkis. I mean, he literally walks on glass at the end of this movie.
There's that scene where he lies on the bed of nails.
Yeah.
That actually made me cringe a little bit. I was
In fear?
A little.
Yeah, man.
I was like, is this shot gonna cut? And it didn't cut.
No, because Ben Stiller's fearless.
Oh, wow.
And also, we don't have kids' movies these days where like the antagonist is a popular comedic actor in the same way that we do with this. Like, usually there'll be an animated movie, like the Emoji Movie will have Maya Rudolph in it, and you're like, oh.
There it is. There's the GIF.
Will Ferrell.
There's the GIF.
Yeah, there's a GIF. And, Lego Movie will have Will Ferrell in it and stuff like that. But, like, seeing Ben Stiller here, and he's, like, playing this weird psycho character who's super ripped and fit, and he looks like he could, like, tear you apart with just like his pecs alone, as well as his arms. Now let's talk about this guy here, Lars, or as Bartek called him before the episode, Han.
Yeah, my mistake.
And I'm like, what, Han Solo? Was he in the movie? Harrison Ford? I didn't see him in here. Or everyone's favorite Han Solo, Alden Ehrenreich. You remember that movie, Solo?
I didn't see it.
It made money. So, yeah, I've seen this movie a bunch. Doesn't he look like Macklemore? Just saying. I just wanted to point that out.
Not wrong.
He looks exactly like Macklemore. I just wanted to point it out because we already got the dad looking like Dr. Phil and him looking like Macklemore. There's a lot of lookalikes in this.
He's also incredibly ripped.
I mean, as he should be.
Well, very true.
He's
true.
very ripped.
Accurately cast. Silent.
And then they be silent. When you guys were growing up as children, what were some of your go-to favorite snacks to eat? Like a candy or a chocolate or a donut? What was your cake? What was your go-to snacks?
You mean like if
Treats,
we had like
nibbles,
like some after-school shit or?
I don't know your environment, man. Just what was some of your favorite little treats to eat while growing up? Because this movie was making me hungry for those treats that I had as a kid. Like I was like, a good caramello koala would really suit me.
The same now. You know those jelly beans, jelly bellies.
Yes.
And they have all the flavors and that. Man, yeah. I was eating those like 2 days ago.
Man,
and that's top shelf.
I was huge into Minties. Oh, loved Minties.
Oh yeah, that was up there.
Loved them. They were my go-to. I'm like, some Minties, please.
Lolly bananas.
And then Bartek's gonna be like, mine was Polish stew. That was my treat as I lived in Polish camp.
There was a Polish treat that I had a lot as a kid.
Ice.
No, it's this like these little wrapped rectangular candies. They were called Mamba.
Well, did you have 5 of them?
I think they're like 5 or 6 in a pack.
That was terrible, but I liked it.
you appreciate it. So you had them. They were good. Well, how would you describe them? They were just little hard candy, or
no? They were chewy.
Toffee?
They were softer than Minties, but they weren't super soft.
Would you say it was like a fantail,
like a Werther's original, or?
I just want to get to the bottom.
Maybe toffee-ish.
Okay.
Toffee-ish.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do these exist?
They're like mini slip and slides.
Yeah, this is new to me. This was
Ben Stiller's huge dick. That's not new to me.
No, we've all seen that before.
We've all seen something about Mary. So,
but still, candy wise, I'm way more into chocolates than any other.
I meant like snacks in general, like treats and snacks when you're a kid. Like my go-to was like Minties. I loved a good caramello koala. Those
I like
were
Freddos, yeah.
Freddo
frogs. Which are just
Freddo
chocolate,
frogs, but they're shaped like frogs.
Yeah, I've never really been into caramel. Growing up, I'm a little bit more into it now, but never been big on it.
I also loved Cadbury's cashew chocolate blocks, which they don't do anymore.
Cashew chocolate?
Yeah.
Is it literally just chocolate?
It's just chocolate with cashews shoved in there.
Well, hell yeah. Why do they not do that anymore?
Because they think for some reason people like Black Forest cashew, Black Forest Cadbury blocks. No one likes those. Those fucking suck.
Ryan
I can just
hear
I just hear in the faint distance my fiance's soul going, I like them. Black Forest? Well, you're wrong.
Yeah, Ryan, you bring that up a lot. You say there's a community online that
there's
wants to know
people
what's going
online
on.
that are like, where are they? Bring them back. And Cadbury's like, we'll bring them back when we feel like it, basically. It's been like well over a decade. I miss them. And I bring them up and people are like, I didn't even know about those. I'm like, how did you not? They were there all the time. Well, you were too busy at Polish camp. Where they were serving
went
you.
Twice, Ryan. I was like 9 and 10.
9. Why didn't you go more times? What was the cutoff?
I didn't want to go.
Oh,
I think there was a
what about
cutoff,
it?
Like 15, 16?
Oh, that's when you become a Polish man and you're not allowed to come back.
One of our family friends, Kamil, he loved it. He went until, he was too old.
Really?
Yeah.
So, what was it about it that you didn't love?
It's not that I didn't have a good time when I went, I just didn't want to go.
Because camps suck?
I'm more of an indoors kid. Like, I had a good time when I was there, but, I'd rather, more
Fair
indoors.
enough. So, Ben Stiller's rocking this hairstyle. What would you say this hairstyle is?
Beyond description. Beyond words.
Okay, Bartek, I was going to say it's a mane, but beyond
that's a good
description,
I forgot about that word.
main.
Well, okay, if you're going to bring in a general word like that, then I guess it is a description.
If you're gonna bring descriptives, then God, like I love that. But Lars is just pushing them all, and then he wants a massage. Lars is fit. Like I know he is, but like, are you surprised to learn that this actor is just an American guy from Chicago?
Yeah, named like Tom or something.
Yeah, just named Mr. Normal, not Lars. I was
I
shocked.
think it was like
did
Tom
crack me up.
Hodges or something.
Cracked me up when they're in the
Yeah, Tom
the
Hodges.
cabin, and the kid goes, That's a stupid ass name. Where are you from?" And it's like so clearly Germany, and he walks up and he goes, "Fuck."
I thought it was a Swedish name.
It's something.
Yeah, well, it's in that region, I guess.
It's in a lot of regions, I guess. But
I know there's a Tekken character named Lars that is Swedish.
your favorite game, Tekken.
No, we were just
be
talking about it
Danish?
before.
I know Lars Ulrich of Metallica. is
Lars
the
von
only-
Trier, the
only,
filmmaker.
He's Danish.
There you go.
Well, these three countries are all in like the same.
Let's
area,
just say
roughly.
Nazi, just to lock it down.
You're
Seal it off and throw it in a can.
Was there much Scandinavian Nazi
I don't know.
melding?
I don't know. They don't talk about it. He's really in his what was the name of the company in?
Globo Gym.
Yeah, Globo
That's
Gym.
so Globo Gym. I can't even.
He can't handle it, man. He's shocked. Now, I rewatching this movie, actually seeing it for the first time. This movie really reminded me of one particular movie we've done on this show, Bartek,
Mm-hmm.
Major Pain,
Yeah.
where you have like this insane, super fit, competent, but also completely crazy fitness, military, whatever guy in charge of a group of kids. But in Major Pain, he's the main character.
Yeah.
And he grows to appreciate what the kids are about, and he changes. Well, in this movie, Ben Stiller's the antagonist,
Yeah,
and he does not change.
They both have their ulterior motives in a way. Like the Major Pain, he
want
wants
to go back to the army.
He wants to go back to the army, and this is him proving himself, but it's a bit more direct. Whereas he is like a financial goal.
Oh yeah, Tony. Yeah, to prove that his fitness thing works,
Yeah.
which it doesn't. Well, it might. We don't know. The kids never tried. They never implemented it.
They do, run 20 miles at one point, and we don't really.
That's true.
But then they have
That's
a
what
whole
I'm
night
saying,
of
man.
eating buckets and buckets worth of food.
How I don't know if I'm buying this whole they're ridiculously overweight thing, because they're pulling off a lot of shit that there's no way that I could stomach that.
Well, were you a fat kid?
Yeah,
Well, could you run 20 miles?
absolutely not.
Did you try?
Well, no.
Well, there you don't know.
Well, that's true.
You don't know. You don't know. Maybe
true.
maybe you need to go percusizing.
I never did the metric conversion.
Like in high school PE.
You're right.
Sorry, I could never know for sure.
In high school PE, we always had the 1.6k run, which 1.6k is a mile.
Yeah.
We did it like 2 to 4 times a year, and I always came.
2 to 4 times.
Yeah.
We only did that once a year at my school.
Yeah, I don't know.
I remember-
we had a park right across the road from that school, so maybe
We
that
were
was
down
it.
the road from like the soccer field, so we
Yeah.
did it.
And I remember
around
I
there.
would always either come last or second last, and if I came second last, it's because like I was walking with my friend, and then I ran ahead at the end, and that's it.
You fucking cheat.
You dogged him.
I remember one
He didn't
year.
care.
I remember one year I did it and I ran backwards because I was bored of doing it each year. And I was like, I already know that I can come within the first top 5, so I was like, why can't I run backwards?
Oh yeah,
it was
and,
fun.
And on top of the 4 1.6k runs, we also had a yearly thing where we'd go to this park not too far from the school called Kakarook Park, which is this massive park, and just do one lap around that.
Was it a Polish park though?
Kakarook?
Yeah.
I don't know, this Aboriginal sounding.
No, you say it with a Polish inflection. It can be.
Kakarook.
Wow, it sounds
I got-
Greek now.
I got a mad story about like cross countries and all those like running things they used to make me do at
Yes.
school.
Did you nearly kill the director of Ghostbusters, Paul Feig, with a baseball bat?
No, unfortunately.
Ah, then okay, bummer.
I wouldn't
Ghostbusters
wanted to have done
2016.
Oh, you mean
I wish.
Ghostbusters? Becking the call
I
or
wish.
answering the call? So you have a running story.
Oh god, that was a classic. I was a very cheeky kid in high school, you see, and we.
I could tell.
Thank you. So one day they set us up to go on. It was like cross country tryouts or whatever, and they got all the year levels to do. We had to run from the school to Lilydale Lake, which was right near the school, all the way around, which is maybe like 3K or so, and then back.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it was like the first 10 people that came back, it was like you guaranteed got into the cross country between all the schools, right? So you're supposed to run down this path, but they said, go! And everyone took off. And me, being cheeky as, I ran to the shops, which was near the lake, and kind of like just did my own thing. Ran through the bushes, ran through some trees and that, came out at the other end of the lake, and the teacher, someone was kind of manning it but didn't notice. They were like, good job, like, you're doing really well. Like, and cheater. At that point, it's kind of like, dude, there's no way I did like 3 kilometers in like a minute. You know what I mean?
But they don't.
But they were just like, keep going. So I was like, all right, and I just kind of kept going, and I was running back. I was grinning to myself. I was like, this is gonna be so funny, man. Like, I'm gonna be like
King
6th or 5th or something. This is gonna blow everyone's mind. I run up to the table, and they're like, oh, good job, you did so well. Write your name down. And I look down at the bit of paper, and it's blank.
Yeah, of course. You won.
I was the first one there, and I think like I had this moment in my head.
And they gave you a medal, and you're like the best guy.
I had this moment where I was like, this has gone too far, because I like had a little That's So Raven moment where I like saw into the future and saw me going to the cross country, getting flattened and coming dead fucking last, and I was like, this has gone too far. And so it comes back to reality, and they're like, write your name on the paper, and I was like,
I cheated.
Nah. And I just took my Zupa Duper
God.
and fucking went and sat down.
You fucking crazy. I love it. The teachers would have been like, what the fuck was that all about?
Wow, he's so great, he won't even acknowledge it officially.
I just want to reference the movie for a sec. We just missed my favorite moment of the movie, where Ben Stiller's going through the rations, and he grabs the like giant cabanossi, bends it, and goes, deli meat, and throws it. And just fucking, I don't know why, that resonated so hard with me that all day today, because I watched it last night, all day today, I was making a sandwich, I was like making peanut butter sandwich, I looked at my fiance and just went, deli meat, and like I threw the butter knife over my shoulder. Like, deli meat!
So is that the hello of this week?
Oh yeah, definitely. Deli meat! I just love the way that Ben Stiller also... I love nuances of actors. And Ben Stiller has a certain inflection with certain lines that really delivers the singers. And one of my favorite things he does, and he kind of does it during this sequence here, which is he does this a lot. But he wants to interrupt you. Like
the Dr. Evil thing, yeah.
Yeah, but better than Dr. Evil, I would say. Like,
ooh, take that, Mike Myers.
No, like, but Ben Stiller does it in all of his movies, so Dr. Evil's just like one-time wonder with it. But like, Ben Stiller does it like, I just love the way he does that. And whenever he comes and whispers into you, you're like, oh, you know Ben Stiller could punch you so hard.
So this
I love his switch.
Is this going to be the
from,
transition?
Like, fuck him to...
What was that, Bartek?
This is the transition you were telling me about, like an iris?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. This transition is exactly the type you would have for an in memoriam video
it came
at
out
the
of
Oscars
nowhere.
or at an actual funeral.
Here
It's
it
just like,
comes.
and here it is. He's like,
He's laughing.
And
It pauses
he's
at
dead.
everything.
And the music is angelic. Oh, like he died. And then it cuts to this, and they're like, he's
turned into
gone.
pillows.
It's like a tiny memorial.
And he's gone, and then someone says he's dead, and like the editing says so too.
Kenan Thompson kind of looks like he's wearing like a red beret or something.
Did you not notice that transition when watching it?
I think I just forgot about it, yeah.
It's just so poignant in my brain.
I love the freeze frame as well, yeah.
Yeah, the freeze frame, and the movie has a freeze frame ending, so it really works.
It should have gone into like slow motion before stopping. That would have been extra.
Well, just to go into cross-country stories for a second, I went to state for cross-country. I was really good at running.
My best friend was.
I'm not good at swimming, so whenever we ever had swimming carnivals, I would just not go. Like, my parents would say, you could stay at home, because whenever you go to a swimming carnival at school, you're just sitting there at the stalls, just looking at people in water. And at my town, there was only one pool that they used for the swimming thing, so you'd have to wait. And then and you weren't allowed to go swimming in the other pools because you had to be in the competition. So I just didn't go. Well, at least with a cross-country event like the athletics carnival, there would be other things like you go shot put over there and long jump over there.
Yeah.
So I would go to those, and I would always do the cross-country and the 100 meters and running stuff. So I went to state for cross-country, and I packed my soccer boots, because The place they had it at, it was raining, and it was at a soccer field that we had to do, like a big amounts of like multiple soccer fields. We had to run this course that they had made, and part of it went into the woods that were the bush around it too. So I brought my soccer boots because I knew that if you just had normal joggers on, they would just squish in the mud and you would probably break your ankle. And one kid did get a hairline fracture.
Oh my god!
In their ankle. Me, I didn't win, but I did a lot better than a lot of the other people. And I remember very vividly, I was like the country town kid, and all these other kids were like from more rural, like more suburbia places. And they're like, "Where are you from?" Kempsey. And they're like, "Kempsey." And they're all snooty to me. And I'm like, "Oh, fuck you." Like, I was just like, "I'm going to kick your ass." Kicked most of their asses. I came like within the top 5 of like however
Damn.
many. So I was good at it. I was like,
pretty
yeah,
impressive.
boy. So when I watched this movie, I had no sympathy for these fatties. I'm
This
on
is
Tony
right here
Perkis's
when they're
side
hunting a
here.
cow.
Not even when they were chasing the cow, right?
One of them's got a tennis racket.
I felt sorry for the cows, man.
But they're running too.
I mean, they couldn't catch cows. I could catch a cow.
Well, you're
You could
tall.
catch a
That means
cow?
you're strong.
I reckon I could sprint after a cow
could
and at least catch up to it.
I can catch a cow that's eating.
If I throw a Pokeball at it, I could catch it, man.
Oh, you're.
There was a cow Pokemon.
Was it?
Yeah, Miltank.
Miltank.
Yeah.
Miltank.
Miltank. Yeah.
Surely there was a
Milton.
couple of. Surely there was another cow Pokemon.
No.
There
the
was a bull
Pokemon
Pokemon,
king, man.
Tauros.
There is. There's another one. The Gen 5. They had Bouffalon, and it's just Tauros with an afro.
Hey,
Okay.
can
I'm
we
not
talk,
making that up.
can we talk about the little red-headed boy that is not French, but he's wearing a beret and a Les Mis shirt during this
What?
whole sequence? Yeah.
Les Mis?
He's wearing a Les Mis t-shirt.
Get out of
We'll have to, you guys. He's also. I'm telling you, we're gonna have to watch this. The kid with the bright red hair and the round glasses that later on we find out has burgers. He has the
him,
burger
right, yeah.
supply, which we never find out where he gets these from. They just go, "Oh, we have a stump that I hide food in," but where do you get burgers from? We never found out.
That's such a savage retort from like what looks like a 9-year-old.
Well,
She's like, why don't you lose weight? She's like, why don't you show him how to be bulimic? And it's like, God damn.
9-year-olds. Yeah, there he is wearing Les Mis shirt. You'll see it. You'll see it proper. So he's on the right hand side of the frame of the group when they shoot it that way.
Yeah, I was
but,
looking too far right.
yeah, I agree that zinger. Now, can we talk about how this movie has Paul Feig or Feig, who knows, the director of Ghostbusters 2016 and Bridesmaids and
Yep.
Spy, and he's responsible for Melissa McCarthy having a film career? I just want to really praise his existence.
Which one's he? Point him out again.
He's the counsel. Oh,
The one that they make fun of for being skinny because he used to be fat.
the school
so
counselor
for
guy.
real, he's the director of
There he is, Les Mis.
Ghostbusters. Oh my god, it is too.
He's the first one to start dancing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one
He's
that
the
started
director
this off.
of the 2016
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Bridesmaids and Spy and, a whole bunch
one
of
of
other.
those was good.
Which one?
People really like
I
Bridesmaids,
don't know
right?
which answer is like you have to leave now.
I don't like any of them, but do answer. I have an absolute disdain.
Bridesmaids.
I have an absolute disdain for modern comedy in
Bridesmaids
America.
had definitely had some moments. I was dreading that movie, and I went and saw it with an ex, I think. And,
Yeah.
but there was definitely some moments that cracked me up.
Terry, you could say
Of course,
Terry
none
Crews.
that are coming to mind.
Terry
Like-
Crews as a fitness instructor. That's the other good part. Just because it's Terry Crews coming in and he's like, I'm big and black and strong and you're going to work out, ladies.
It was a very big deal when it came out. Everyone was talking about it.
Well, everyone kind of pitched it as like the female Hangover, but
Yeah.
then
It
was
wasn't?
nothing like the Hangover. It was a totally different movie.
No, you're right.
It was still cracked.
They needed Ken Jeong to be in it.
They did.
they
as-
needed
as-
female Kenja.
As does fucking Marvel Avengers Endgame has Ken Jeong in it
It
for no
does.
apparent reason. I'm
Yeah.
not shitting you.
No lines.
That's not a spoiler. He's just in the movie
Wait,
and he's
hang
got
on.
this ridiculous mustache
You
that they
telling
glued
me-
onto his
you
face.
say no spoiler, like as if you haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, but people might be like, "Oh, guys, you're ruining it." I didn't know he
Oh,
was
good.
Thanos'
No,
dad.
I-
Like, can you imagine
Dude,
if
what are
Ken
you
Jeong,
saying?
Ken Jeong was Thanos' dad?
You're gonna have to edit that out.
Yeah, I'll just bleep it out.
you
with
said
a-
it wasn't a spoiler. That's
exactly.
a big one.
No, he's just in it, and he's no shit, Bartek. Ken Jeong is in it, and he's wearing like this big hat, and he's got like this big mustache. Looks like a bandito mustache that they just glued onto his face.
So
Really
is this just a
does.
cameo or something?
He's
Yeah.
just in it. He's just
Well,
in it
that's-
for no reason.
The majority of the Community cast has had cameos in those movies now.
Not Chevy Chase.
not Chevy Chase, and not Joel
Makes
McHale, and not whoever the hell Britta is,
Gillian Jacobs.
and not Annie, but then all the other ones.
So basically,
that-
none of them.
But the Dean has,
Yes.
Shirley has, Abed, and Donald Glover, of
Donald
course,
Glover.
was quite prominent in Homecoming.
Yes.
Ken Jeong,
Yeah.
and someone else that's not.
I don't know if John Oliver has, but I hope one day.
Oh, jeez.
He gets to be the voice of everyone's favorite speaking bird in the Lion King movie that they're doing, that I'm totally looking forward to. I'm looking forward to
talked
John
about it a lot,
Oliver's
yeah.
Zazu.
You see that picture of
Well, all their
Pumbaa?
emotionless, expressionless animal faces, and then there's one of a photorealistic warthog. It looks
Yes.
fucking terrifying
It
and
does look
gross, and
terrifying.
it just says Pumbaa above it. And then when Seth Rogen retweeted that, he just wrote, "I am Pumbaa," and I'm just sitting there going, "No, you're not. No, you're fucking not."
That's,
Well, you're gonna be surprised when you see the film and see that he's Pumbaa.
I would love it if they recast him really quickly and they just put the original voice in, and he was like, "I said I was Pumbaa. See, he's all Les Mis. I don't know why this kid's dressed French-like." Now, do you have any theories as to why the dance ended as soon as it started? Like, this dance had been active within time for like 10 minutes.
well, I feel like he had a little monologue prior to this where he was like, he wants us to look at that.
Yeah.
He's gonna embarrass us. He wants to
Yeah.
set up this dance to embarrass us. So surely he was waiting in the wings, and he's like, "Oh no, this is actually going well.
Yeah, they
This
cuts
has
it.
we got to nip this in the bud."
But don't you like that the movie didn't do the obvious, like, showing him in the wings and he's just like, "Dang, it's going well, cut out the lights,
yeah.
Lars." Like, it just happens and you just have to pick up from what the character's like, that, oh, he must have
he's-
done it because of
yeah.
those reasons. That's why I said...
And can we rely on that narration? Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I was just like, like, I just like the fact that the film had some... The film had
could this
some
be-
leeway.
Could this be like The Odd Life of Timothy Green, where, I know this story isn't being told to us, in a narrative device or anything
No,
like that.
in media res, yeah.
Yeah, but is this like a kid who didn't have a good time's retelling of the events?
Or is it Pat's telling of the events as
Even
a guy who wants to be in charge
This
of the
guy
camp?
bullied me. He's mean, and so he ended the dance like this,
Yeah, exactly.
and it made
Even
them
that
run
shot
20 kilometers, miles.
This was a very great scene, I
It
thought
actually
this
was
was
very adorable.
Even how it started, so the way he was sitting in the car, and then the thumb comes in from the side of the frame.
and it's
That's
not
a-
in
that's
focus,
a good shot.
and the thumb's not even in focus,
That's a
and it
good
just
shot.
this is such a great scene, and I love that you have this kind of relationship between the two of these, in which they're not leaning in too heavily on the kind of like he's a father figure type of role.
Yes.
He's
We've got Dr. Phil for that.
They got Dr. Phil. No, but like he's an absentee. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not a great father in terms of what the kid
He's
wants.
like a big brother kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, I meant like
Yeah.
Dr. Phil. But like Dr.
Oh,
Phil's
yes,
not the
yes.
greatest dad. But yeah, he's more like a big brother, and he is more just like what you would expect someone who works at some of these camps would be like. Just
Yeah.
like really down to earth, fun, caring about the kids involved.
He's a big part of its legacy. I mean, 18 years. How
And-
old is the camp?
and
Yeah.
he's big.
Yeah.
It's 33 years. They say it at the very beginning.
Mm.
So he's been there for a very long time. And, I thought the scene was great. And I did love that they did play with the fact that, Pat's a fat guy, so he's not going to be able to get up and do that again. And that was a lot of work
Yeah.
for him. So I thought this was one of the sweet scenes that, I reckon, we need more of in current movies. I feel like there's a real aversion, not just in children's movies, but in adult movies too, to having tenderness and sweetness in your movies.
Or
It has
if-
to be grim or cynical or dark a lot of the time.
or if they are going to do it, it's going to be like really grand, and there's going to
Yeah,
be inspiring
exactly.
music. It's
And it
not
has
going
to
to be
be
something simple
melodramatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Yeah, like if it's either that or Batman v Superman. Like there's no in
like that.
between.
Like glorious fanfare behind it or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, Josh is back, and he's referencing every kid's favorite movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
If only someone could have done the chief running away.
Yeah, well, they missed out on that. They missed out on that. Like Bob Marley show. Why not? every kid's favorite, music.
Reggae artist.
Yeah, reggae. Did you think would you have been happier if he stayed this way for the whole movie? And you never got an explanation of what they did to him.
It was. I mean, it'd be in line with everything else. You kind of have to like piece it together yourself and like connect the dots based on what everyone else is reacting to it.
Now,
obviously, the film is set in reality, but if like they could have this unexplained, like what happened.
Is it set in reality though? Ben Stiller does some pretty fucking crazy shit in this movie.
Well, he's larger than life, larger than reality.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how long did you guys get fooled into thinking that he was literally lobotomized in some weird shape? Because he kind of ignores it. And he plays it. Did you get fooled? Because I did.
He really, he completely backpedals. Like, nah, man, my dad's a lawyer. He handled it all.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Guys, here's a setup to a payoff.
Yes, that's true. Shaving the balloon.
Yeah.
He's been able to shave.
I forgot about
So
that.
Later they mentioned like, oh, now they're shaving the balloon. I'm like, that's weird. And then he's doing it. I'm like, of course.
Now,
he
guys,
shaves.
do you remember the first time you had to shave?
Yes.
What was it like? Because I didn't have to shave for the first time properly till I was like 18, 19.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not that hairy.
I think I do. I don't know, man.
I think shaving is one of the most annoying things that I am chawed with doing if I need to do it, so I just don't do it often.
Yeah, you've been growing a goatee the past few weeks.
Because I'm bored of shaving. I don't like it.
That's me, man.
Irritating. Yeah. Well, you're Polish, so it's like you're more Polish than I, so you have a real down. Like, it's just fighting against nature.
I was definitely younger than 18 when I started, yeah.
When did you first, did you just rock up to school when you were 12 and you already had a 5 o'clock shadow? Like, when did it hit you? Because
I remember when I was 9, some people were saying, "Hey, dude, you're growing like some hair under your nose or something." I was like, "Oh."
And then he was like, "No, it's just boogers."
It's some long ass nose hairs.
Sorry, Ben Stiller.
I remember I was sent home on the first day of year 8 because I had a little bit of a moustache. Apparently.
Well, wait, what?
You got sent home?
What the fuck? You got sent home?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Who sent you home?
The year 8 coordinator.
Who were they? Give me their names. I want to speak to them right now.
Their last name was Douglas. It was a woman.
Miss Douglas, huh?
Yeah.
Or Mrs.? Was she married?
Sent you home for having a wee bit of a mustache.
Yeah.
Well, it's not your fault. That's racist. You should have looked at her and said, "Miss, that's actually racist because I'm Polish and we are naturally hairy people. You're gonna have to get used to that." Did she ever send you home again for that? Because
No.
I imagine that would have been a recurring issue of
No,
some
they
variety.
didn't.
So they just let it drop after that. That was just like a one-time wonder.
They let it drop, or they said like, "Hey, you need to start shaving that off or something."
But then did it pressure you into having to constantly shave? Because there were people in my school that had full-on facial hair by like year 10 and 11, and they never got any trouble.
The high schools that I went to had a strict clean-shaven thing, but after that, I always just didn't shave until someone told me.
Did the teachers, were they clean-shaven, all of them?
No, they didn't have that rule.
Oh, well, then that's hypocrisy.
It was especially...
The women with mustaches really needed to pay.
It was especially funny because at my second high school, which I only did VCE at, the senior coordinator when we were in year 11, he was clean shaven and he was always the strictest about it. And then in year 12, he just started growing facial hair and just never acknowledged it. And it was like, "Sir, this is coming across a little bit weird."
Hypocrisy. Yeah.
We had some people, have had 5 or 6 years with you. We've just had 1, and now you're suddenly growing facial hair.
I went to school, and my year 3 teacher was called Mr. Beard, and he did not have a beard, but he would be that guy that we saw him in the morning, freshly clean shaved. By midday, full on 5 o'clock shadow, like just great. Like he's always fighting to shave, and he was a guy who had like always wore the button-up proper shirts, but yeah, the tuft of chest hairs popping out at the top, and you're like, hairy man, Mr. Beard.
You probably know this about me, right? But I put off shaving a lot. But I think I get the 5 o'clock shadow fairly quickly.
When I saw this movie and he's like, "I've been shaving for years," I'm like, well, how old is he?
I think
he must be like 15.
I think they're meant to be around 15.
Jerry's 11.
Okay, that's true. I think
So
Kenan Thompson, the person, the actor, I think was around almost 18.
What, are you kidding
No,
me?
no, sorry, he was like 15, I think.
I was about to say, isn't this before he was huge with Kenan and Kel?
I think it was like a year or two before.
Because this is
Kenan and Kel.
1995,
Yeah.
right? When were they? I thought they were like late 90s.
Kenan and Kel, I think, started in 97, so like 2 years
Okay.
before this. I think he was 18 by the time he started Kenan and Kel. So...
Oh, I thought he was a kid.
No. The thing
Well,
that always
being Big
confuses
Fat
me-
Liar, he is a full-grown adult,
Yeah,
so
the-
I guess it all makes
The
sense.
thing that confuses me with him is that I'm used to him having like I don't know if they're called dreads.
No, he has
but-
dreads.
Yeah.
I've seen him with the more shaved bald head thing that he has now, and in this more so than the dreads. So that's kind of funny.
Fat Albert's also a distinct character.
Did
that
you
he
like
imitated.
Did you like the fact that Ben Stiller could hear their farts, but not hear them talking
Exactly.
and making noises?
Well, you see, farts are things you have to react to.
That's just good acting. Then.
That's just.
You remember
It's
Big
actually
Stan?
called reacting.
Big Stan and the Man.
Big Stan and the Man. Farts are power and Thunderpants.
Oh, yes,
How
of
could
course.
you forget Thunderpants? A movie about a kid who
How many
farts-
were there? 50?
Oh,
Or
way
30?
more. There was like a million. A movie about a kid who farts so hard that he has to power a NASA rocket,
And his dad leaves.
and his dad
That
leaves him.
was Rupert Grint.
Yeah, of
wasn't it?
course.
Yeah.
That's that
He was the
man.
best friend of the father.
And Ned Beatty, yeah. Let's not forget.
I love how when they split, though, they just go behind the trees.
Yes. Now,
I gotta say on the shaving topic, I can't really remember. I was probably the same as you. It was probably around like 17 or so when I had to like start.
Excuse me, 17's too long for me, but...
Start,
he was year 8,
Shaving.
buddy. He was
Oh,
like,
you're talking to Ryan, I'm sorry.
he's talking to me.
and then, but I do recall being at a party once when I was like 16. No, it would have been about that age, probably about 16 or 17, and someone I was really keen on. I had a bit of a like, you know, a bit of hair going, and she said that there was no way because she didn't like beards. So I found a pair of scissors and went to the bathroom at this party and just trimmed away
Did as much as you could.
as much as I could,
Yeah.
to the point where I just kind of had stubble and kind of came back and it was like, how about now?
And did you score?
I did.
Yes.
It was like a
That's-
movie moment, like, oh, you tried.
A little bit. It was, yeah. I think maybe it was more endearing more than successful, but not
And you know,
even in a complete no bullshit way. It worked.
And you know the irony now?
How's
She's a lumberjack now, so she's married. She's
that?
got.
You're telling me? Oh no, I was
Lumberjill?
gonna say Mad Dexter spoilers, but I don't know.
Well, it's been like 10 years,
It
and everyone
has.
knows that Dexter has like the worst finale of all time.
yeah.
Did the parents discover the lab?
Yeah, Dexter. You fucking fucker. Yeah, exactly.
What the hell happened there?
What with Dexter's laboratory?
Oh, look, no.
They pressed
I
the
don't know,
button
man.
and it opened.
He
That's
moved
just-
on to do Samurai Jack, man. That's what happened.
We can't. I can't go down the Dexter rabbit hole.
You know what I love about
won't
the
stop
Dexter
talking.
rabbit hole, though? It's one of those season finales. Not even the finale. The whole last season is so terrible that it makes it kind of impossible to rewatch the whole series ever again because you just
yeah.
know it means fucking nothing.
It does.
It's like, oh, it means fucking nothing. For me, Dexter, just because we're saying it, I gave up on Dexter after John Lithgow went away as a serial killer. He was like, I'm a family man.
Oh, but that was the peak.
Yeah,
John
that-
Lithgow was the
yeah,
peak.
and
of that whole
after he
show.
left, because I just couldn't stand Dexter, because it has a lot of shows do this. Boardwalk Empire, a lot of shows where they have this season has an antagonist, and then we overcome them, and then the next season has an antagonist, and we overcome them. It's like, yeah, but what's the point of the whole show? Is
Yeah.
it like each season we're gonna take down another serial killer?
Yeah, well,
And
with
me personally, like with Dexter, I just couldn't stand Dexter as a character. I like the characters who didn't like Dexter, and that was my favorite. Like
he was a bit painful.
the black cop guy, the one.
Jokes.
He was my favorite character
Surprise,
because
motherfucker.
he's my favorite because he was like literally the character who's like Dexter's a weird fucker, and I
Yeah.
think he's a
He
creepy
was the
psycho.
The only one who could.
And then then you know he exits the show, and I'm like, oh great, we got nothing now. We got no one to be like he's weirdo.
Well,
we're just
I
supposed to
honestly
think
thought
that.
the first 5 seasons, so the fourth one being the John Lithgow season, and then the fifth one because there's a lot of loose ends and they need to
Yeah.
tie up, did a pretty good like TV show job of having an overarching thing. But then as soon as it hit 6, 7, 8, it was really like
Oh, yeah.
episodic, sort of like.
Well, don't worry.
And here's another person.
He became a lumberjack, so it's fine. So
Yeah, I
No,
hope his career's going well. for him.
Bartek, have you ever had to be publicly weighed while a cameraman films you?
I don't think I've ever been publicly weighed.
Have you been weighed on those kind of weights?
No.
I haven't either.
Just like scales, usually digital scales even.
I don't know how you work those weights.
I don't trust them.
Yeah, I don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I don't know
With the
either.
pushing thing.
I don't know how they work. If you're a weigher man...
If you're a professional with... Oh, no, wait.
No, weight.
Zero weight.
I was going to bring in the Polish
Zero
title,
mass.
but then I remembered that it was talking about the things you lift, so it doesn't work.
No, I like how he takes this with stride. Like, he could fully lose it here, but he's like, you know what? I'm to blame here. Now let's get you... But then he starts to snap here. He starts doing the Jan Brady talking.
He starts talking to himself.
How you doing, little Tony?
Let's rob a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly. Let's rob a 7-Eleven. I love when Ben Stiller does this kind of weird, crazy energy when it's a more realistic movie. Like, you know, like this is still grounded in a realistic world, but Ben Stiller's like from some crazy other dimension. And he's come into this Disney movie. Can you imagine if they made a movie like this today? Like, you wouldn't get the bit at the end where Ben Stiller's character is walking barefoot on broken glass
That's right.
that he put there. And him screaming while bleeding at the children, and he's just like, you're to blame! And then he does like a backflip. Like, you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get the kids putting him in a cage that's electrified.
That took me to a place when he did the backflip.
You've backflipped a lot.
That was... Oh, I wish.
I've
Oh
seen
my
you in a
days.
stage production in which someone else backflipped and they
Yeah.
nearly fell off the stage. That was great.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. Having
Don't
facial
remind me.
hair helped me get some high school production roles. I
Of
guess.
course.
I thought you were gonna
Of
say.
course it did.
I thought you were gonna say pussy, and it was gonna
It
be the
always does.
opposite of Sam. Like Sam,
Yeah.
it hindered, but
What?
for me, it was
I
a
had to be
magnet.
clean shaven.
So yeah, you.
I thought, yeah, I did backflips. That's how I got.
But
girls.
do tell us about flips. You were gonna. I think you were gonna tell us about something about the flips. Reminded you of.
Oh, no. I was saying when he does the backflip towards the end, that moments in this movie that kind of just woke me up where I kind of went, what the fuck is happening in this movie?
Yeah.
Like some of the performances and some of the lines, like the "Don't let anyone cash your check" line, where you're kind of like, what movie am I watching again?
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
think where he busts out the backflip was again one of those moments. Like okay, I'm paying attention.
See, I think we really lost the art form for children's entertainment to have the polar opposites and tones work. Like, this is a really sweet scene, but we just this scene follows a scene in which Ben Stiller's talking in a crazy voice to himself.
That's right.
You know, and it still works. It still works because there's a clear delineation from the evil side of the camp and the good side of the camp. You know, and that's kind of what works about this, or movies like Major Payne, where you have a main character who's a fucking nut job who hurts people.
That sounds like a very good point you're making, Ryan, which begs the question, why don't people talk about this film more?
I think it's just because it was on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon on Channel 7, and only caught the last 40 minutes of it.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the YouTube comments that I've gathered, and the first one is, ha ha ha, no one remembers this movie, sad face.
Starts with ha ha ha, ends with a sad face.
You know how you
What
often...
a trip.
You know how that often happens to you, where you're like, I had such a great time.
That video of the kid being asked if he has a girlfriend, and he's like, no, and then just starts crying.
I thought it was if he misses his mum.
No, I thought it was going to be even better. I thought Sam was going to be like, it's that clip of that kid who just saw The Odd Life of Timothy Green, and he's just crying about it. It's like, there's a film called The Odd Life of Timothy Green we did recently, and spoiler alert for that film, the Timothy Green character's a boy, and he dies at the end. And he kind of doesn't die. He kind of gets reinvited. He goes back.
He's not a real boy. He's like nature.
He's grown from the ground because it's Disney movies, like magical.
Sure.
And there's a video of these two children who have just seen the movie and their reactions,
They're in
and
the
they're
back of the
just
car on the way back.
crying. They're crying, and the parents are laughing. They're like, "What's so sad?" He's like, "He had to go. He had to go." I love the fact that they as children acknowledge that he had to go.
Yeah.
Now look at
It was inevitable.
Ben Stiller here is prepping himself. He's getting in character for when he has to do Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, he knew it was coming.
You know, this is one of the few movies I've seen of Ben Stiller where he doesn't make a blatant, if at all, any references to Star Trek. I'm very shocked. Like, usually in his movies, he always has some reference to Star Trek because he's a huge Star Trek fan.
I've never been a Star Trek guy, so I guess they've all been going over my head.
Well, literally in Tropic Thunder, when he's stuck in the woods at night, he's watching on his smartphone an episode of Star Trek.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how obvious they are. like you just say it.
I rewatched Tropic Thunder recently, and that party scene at the start floors me when he's trying to chat to Jack Black, and he's just gacked and he's like chewing his gums. That killed me. Holy shit!
Tropic Thunder was always one of those ones I've always like. Everyone loves it, and I'm just like, it's good. I like when they keep cutting back to Tom Cruise and Matthew McConaughey. I don't care about them in the woods.
He's so good.
Maybe when he was talking to himself in that scene earlier, maybe that was a captain's log.
Yes, exactly. I gotta say, with Tropic Thunder, it does have one of the best lines ever used, and it is such a great term for film analysis, which is full retard. He went full retard.
Yeah.
It's such a good line.
Yeah, people use it even outside of film analysis. It's super
we
acknowledged.
used it in reference to a terrible audition we saw one time. For we did Cloud Street.
Okay.
The show. I don't know if you guys know.
I'm not familiar. Is it with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
Not at all.
Street?
It's kind of like it's a very wholesome, sort of naturalistic play. It's just It's just a family growing up in a house, but one of the sons is severely disabled. And we saw a lot of auditions of people kind of going various, up or down the scale on how intense they wanted to go. And we saw some full retard, and every time it was
uncomfortable.
Never go full retard.
Never
Everyone
go
in the
full
room just kind of goes, oh man.
Sorry, Ben Stiller did also just say one of my favorite lines just then, which was "Repulse the monkey."
Repulse the monkey.
It's very hard to do.
The wild horses, man.
Yeah, he's saying a lot of crazy shit here. Now, since Ben Stiller is in this movie that's for children, what are our feelings of Ben Stiller? Bartek and I, we've talked about him a lot because we've had him on the show a lot, but we'll retouch on those things. But what about you, Sam? I mean, what do you feel about Ben Stiller as an actor, as a comedian?
He's great.
The fact that he's an adult in 1995.
He thought he was going to be a kid.
That was new.
He thought Ben Stiller was only like 8 years older than us.
He's
To be fair, he's aged pretty well.
Oh, he's aged incredibly well.
Maybe that was maybe what I was expecting from this movie was like, maybe this is finally going to be when I see a bad Ben Stiller movie.
Wow.
Or like a bad performance by Ben Stiller.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I have yet to.
No, I've yet to see a bad performance from him. I've seen some movies that aren't so great with him in them, but usually he gives a great stellar performance. He's always nuanced in his levels of energies and range. Like, think about how he does this movie, then a few decades later he'll do something like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Completely different range.
And even in Night at the Museum, where he is more, toned down.
Yeah, he's more passive.
Yeah, yeah.
See, the Night at the Museum ones are great. What was the Heartbreak Kid?
The Heartbreak Kid. Yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
Zoolander, obviously.
Yes.
Zoolander, where he's an idiot.
But then he's also, like we were saying before, about how a lot of his delivery is just so iconic and so passionate that he can do stuff like Madagascar as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he can do voice
keep that
acting.
Up for 3 movies.
Yeah, with him and everyone's favorite, Ross from Friends.
David Schwimmer, that's right.
David Schwimmer. And, of course, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
As Zebra. So there you go.
You want to talk?
Who's
actually,
the hippo?
David Schwimmer. You want to talk about people who are
wife,
phenomenal actors?
Yeah.
He's the best one in that whole and all of Friends, hands down. I'll fight people on that.
Oh, wow, really? Not Joey?
Joey's up there.
Smell the fart actor, yeah.
But those two in particular are phenomenal actors.
I don't know. They know Paul Rudd when he appears.
True.
So there you go. Bartek's favorite show, Friends, which
Love
he's
Friends.
an expert
I
of.
know everything. Ask a question.
Bartek, tell us tell us about the character of Rachel.
They
and who she's played by.
She's friends with the people that steal the soap from the hotel.
That's accurate. You nailed it.
Bang.
Now tell us about Seinfeld, something you're not an expert in, know nothing about.
Michael Richards played Elaine very well.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. Now, I love Ben Stiller, and I love that he will chuck himself into anything. Like this scene here, he fully commits to having a kid's ass in his face, but also then his immediate reaction, injure the child.
While like doing this kind of like
Karate
weird pressure point poke into his knees or something.
Yeah.
And then not be able to catch up to the fat child for quite some time.
At the start of this movie, they established that these fat children are capable of running at the speed of a bus.
Exactly. Well, because they're as big as one, right?
hard
You know what?
task.
Until the climax scene where the parents come, this is like the last time he's able to freely move around, really.
Yeah. This is the
didn't know
last
that.
point of power, and then oops. Do you think they set that up beforehand? Or?
Of course they did. That's an excellent
No,
trap.
right now it's just coincidence.
I actually didn't know because we
Takes-
didn't have the
that's-
scene
yeah,
in which
I
they
know-
were
I
doing
know.
it. So I
It
was like,
surprised me.
is this a man? Is like a well that got
Well,
covered
it's
over?
kind of
like,
it's kind of like that thing of like if you see the setup, there's probably gonna be like
a payoff, like the razor.
They really dug that
no,
hole in
it's
not a
it's
lot
more
of
like
time.
if you see the setup or someone explains the plan, it's probably gonna fail.
Well, Sam, they didn't dig the hole. They ate the ground.
They thought it was chocolate.
They made it into chocolate.
All right, I gotta get something off my chest about.
Okay.
Who's that actress there?
Lady,
I'll look.
Of course.
What's the
lady.
character?
what's your
name?
problem with her? She's nurse.
Nothing. Yeah, no.
You got to get off your chest. You want to bang her. I get it. She's the only woman in the film. I understand.
Is her name Alice?
Yes.
The actress's name is Anne Maria, Meara.
Good.
She has the classic like mid to late 90s female supporting character thing of everyone wants her to look like Alicia Silverstone.
Yes.
A couple, especially in that scene where he was pushing him around in the go-kart, and she's kind of just standing there like doing a little smile at the whole thing.
You mean Alicia Silverstone,
And
the villain in Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she was. She
forgot
was
about
the
that.
villain in that.
That movie was also
She also, in real life, feeds her children as if they were baby birds.
Huh?
Bartek, explain.
Well, you see, baby birds can't chew, so
So
they get their mothers to chew.
and
then
regurgitate
vomit
it
up.
into
Yeah,
their mouth. That's how
totally.
that's how she feeds her children.
Get the fuck out.
There's videos of it. You can watch it.
Get
I didn't know there were videos.
Oh no!
Is that a YouTube thing or is it a
Yeah,
Pornhub thing?
No, it's a YouTube thing. She's like, I believe that we could feed
Hey,
our children like animals.
Motherhood
do.
is not pornographic.
Yeah. So there you go. Now, do you think it
I
was?
know what I'm YouTubing as soon as we.
Yeah, Alicia Silverstone, 2 babies, and Bird. So, what do you think? Do you think Tony made a mistake here by like having a verbal confrontation with the only person who was going to help him? Do you think that was an act of hubris on his part?
I'm sure in the future beyond this film, there will be a payoff that will work in his favor because of that decision. But for the film itself, no.
But just going back to why this film isn't as praised or loved, what are your theories on it? What are your feelings of it?
I guess, is Disney kind of seen as, a company that makes things for kids, or at least at some point? Because I know Marvel's big now, but
Yeah,
May-
they are.
maybe-
They're kids' entertainment.
yeah. So maybe that's the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
but why
it's
is Goonies appreciated then if that's for kids?
I don't know, Ryan. Maybe this was just made at the wrong time.
Now, there's a lot of crazy trivia about this movie, Sam. That
Oh really?
I don't know if you read or not, but there's a lot
There
of
was
weird
one
trivia.
really big block of text that I didn't get through.
When you remember some of the crazy trivia that was a part of this? One of them
dear,
is
what was
so insane that I love it. So Judd Apatow wrote the script for this, right? Right.
Wait, hang
Judd
on.
Apatow, who
Yeah,
is
spell
responsible.
it out for people like me. who
Yeah,
are
Judd
fucking idiots.
Apatow, director of not Hangover, of Knocked Up and Steve Carell movies and Seth Rogen movies like Knocked Up and 40-Year-Old Virgin
Okay,
and
pretty good.
Onwards and Upwards and stuff like that. He's really responsible for that American style of comedy we got now, where they do a lot of improvising and they kind of cut around it.
Uh huh.
He wrote the script for this. and he encountered the famous director Paul Thomas Anderson,
Oh, this is what else. Yeah.
who is the director of things like There Will Be Blood, Boogie Nights, like all these really high respectable movies, Inherent Vice recently, The Dressmaker, all these like really acclaimed, really well loved, very nuanced, very arty films. Paul Thomas Anderson said to Judd Apatow that this was one of his favorite movies of that year he saw.
Oh my God.
Love that the idea of someone who's like this really esteemed, acclaimed. Like it's like if Stanley Kubrick came up to this guy and said, "Your movie about the fat kids was the best movie I saw." Like it's insane to think that some of these auteur filmmakers that we put a lot of intellect and genius on because they've got these really well manufactured movies of art, like Spielberg and Tarantino and all these people.
You think them up.
You think them up on this,
Yeah.
and yet they could still enjoy and even love a little movie like this. Makes it just, people are people, and
Very humanizing.
and what I'm saying is, if this is Paul Thomas Anderson's top film of 1995, then why isn't it yours, people?
You know what? I
Mic drop.
got some other movie trivia to hit you back with. It's not about this movie, but I don't know. Did you guys see that Kevin Feige did the Reddit AMA or AMAA?
Yeah, and how did that go?
Oh, there was some interesting stuff on there. But let me tell you that one of the big ones, similar to what you were saying there, they said to him, "Why? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. The director of the first Iron Man, and he's in it. What's his name?
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau. They said, why Jon Favreau for the
Iron
first
Man,
Iron Man to kick off this whole thing? And he said,
Swingers, man.
Elf.
Oh, Elf. Yes, we actually know this. We've
said
actually
Elf
shared
was
this
one
trivia.
of the best, storytelling movies that he'd seen, and he was like, gotta have it. Elf spawned everything up to Endgame.
Yeah. So everyone
Everything
should
would have been
thank
different.
everyone should thank Will Ferrell.
Exactly.
And fucking what's her name?
I can't remember.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Oh, Zoe Deschanel.
Zoe Deschanel,
yeah,
because she was the girl and she was blonde in it. There's always that.
Wasn't she in like Thor or Thor 2 or something?
No, that's
No, sorry, the
Kat
Kat
Dennings.
Dennings. my
But
mistake.
Do not confuse Kat Dennings.
Who's the dwarfy guy?
Peter Dinklage.
Is that not him in or am I thinking of someone else?
No,
that's
he's
in
an elf.
He played
Yeah,
a-
he's
an elf.
the business guy, right?
Yeah.
And then of course he's in Infinity War as he's the
He's
giant.
the giant dwarf.
Yeah, the giant
And
dwarf.
and of course, let's not forget, Peter Dinklage was also in the critically acclaimed series finale of Game of Thrones.
He was also all right. Now we're going down a rabbit hole of trivia now.
I read someone was pointing out that one of the people in one of the shots just there looked like a juggalo before juggalos was a thing.
Well, maybe they inspired juggalos.
I think the trivia
I'm not
point,
saying that they didn't.
the
but
trivia
they
point was
did.
written as like minus the chocolate sauce, it looks like a juggalo.
So check this out, right? Peter Dinklage. We want to talk about him in the Marvel movies, right?
He was an X-Men,
He was right. So he was in Days of Future Past, right?
which
As
was
Bolivar.
a Fox movie, but now they're technically Disney.
So he was Bolivar Trask.
Yeah.
Makes the Sentinels and everything. But Bolivar Trask was already in
the X-Men, and he was
the
a black
X-Men
guy.
movie, and he was a big ass black guy.
Oh, it's because
And then it was
these
Peter
movies
Dinklage.
have a history with that. Do you remember in the 1989 Batman movie, Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian played Harvey Dent, and then a few years
What?
later, Tommy Lee Jones played Harvey Dent.
All right, I didn't know that first
Yeah,
one
yeah.
at
Yeah.
all. Wait. So that was the first one with like
Harvey Dent, yeah, with Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, that
Jack
one.
Nicholson Joker.
Yeah, that's the movie, and they have Harvey
Wow.
Dent in it. He's yet to be Two-Face. They're setting up he's going to be Two-Face slowly by just introducing him, and then they just cast Tommy Lee Jones instead, the white guy Tommy Lee Jones, because he won an Oscar earlier that year. So they're like, let's get Tommy Lee instead of Billy D.
I gotta tell you though, Tommy, Two-Face and Riddler, like Jim Carrey. And,
Yeah, but I wanted
that was pretty
Billy
bad.
D to do it.
was pretty
Everyone, but he got to do it in Lego Batman. He was the voice of Two-Face in Lego Batman.
Really?
And if you watch Lego Batman, you see half melted face. One side is, African American guy, and the other side's melted. It's like, and it's Billy D. So that's kind of cool. And Billy D was in the first Lego movie as Lando Calrissian. So he has single-handedly been in most of the Lego movies as famous characters he has played.
There was a Lego Batman movie, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
it was great.
I didn't see that.
You missed out. It was perfect.
What am I doing?
It had weird voice choices, and it was great.
Did you see that right there? That face that she pulled? Tell me that's
Yeah.
not an Alicia Silverstone face.
I
You know what I
didn't.
mean? When she bites
I
the
don't
lip
know.
or whatever?
I don't know. I didn't see her regurgitating her food into children's mouths. So, I mean, that's how I'm used to
So
her.
an Alicia Silverstone face for you, Ryan, will be open-mouthed and things coming out.
Oh, it's power walk. That's a strong power walk.
That is such a huge
Stance.
power walk. Now, see this sequence here? They had to cut it because she just started regurgitating these into kids' mouths.
She's go. Oh my god, she's going for it.
At least we
See how
know.
they, see how they cut it there?
At least we know that she was regurgitating a fruit.
Exactly, it's a fruit. What were some of your favorite moments from this movie, guys? Some standout moments that we haven't really pointed out, or just ones that you want people to know that that really struck a chord.
That we haven't pointed out, because I was going to say the backflip.
The backflip. That was pretty impressive.
That's a big one.
Bartek?
I guess a big visual spectacle for the film would be the Apache relay at the end, because there's just a lot of things going on there, like a lot of costumes,
cultural appropriation. I agree.
a lot of costumes, a lot of events.
Did you like the fact that they got Lars to play Andy Warhol, but not Albert Einstein? I appreciated that. And they're like their little race. He played the one who's American, not the one who's from Europe. Love it. Oh yeah, the Apache race is colourful, it's bright, it's got a lot of interesting little challenges.
But yeah, one thing I would say about it is it's beyond the part where we have an antagonist, because
Well, the antagonist was
He gets-
the secret antagonist, the other camp.
the MVP camp.
The MVP camp. This movie is a lot. I do love this whole sequence here where we're going to see the consequences all culminate up until this boiling point of explosion of revelations and stuff. Did you guys have a favorite character other than Tony Perkis? Because it's obvious that he's most likely the favorite character for most people. But
This guy.
well, this guy, Pat?
Pat Finley.
Oh, Pat. Yeah,
This film has a lot of really good characters from, the more common ones. Like, you got the villain, we've got Pat, he's very likable, Tony is just a great little,
Paul
leader
Feig.
character. And then you even have the minor characters, like the British kid, who kind of has a fighting problem, I guess.
Did you have a favorite kid?
Um,
Because mine was the British kid.
yeah, the British kid, Tony and Kenan Thompson were up there for me.
You're a Kenan Thompson fanatic, guys. So that kind of
You know what?
it's a bias.
I'm not really, but every time I see him, I'm just in a good mood. I'm like, it's Kenan.
Yeah, it's like a lizard that finally gets to sit on a heat rock. Like you're like, What about you, Sam? Any favorite character? Any favorite kids? Like any of the kids really stand out to you? Like you're like, I like that kid. Because I like Josh.
Yeah,
as
I was
well.
gonna say Josh. He goes a bit MIA, for a piece there.
For those who are not know, that means missing in action. He's not talking about the musician MIA.
There's a musician called.
Yeah, she did that song that's a complete rip-off of the Clash's song Go to Hell, Straight to Hell. She has that song where it's
How's
like,
it go?
chick, chick, boom, make that money. And it's just a direct rip-off of the Clash.
Is that when it's got all like the till noises?
Yep.
And,
Yeah, it's a direct rip-off of a great song called Straight to Hell from the Clash.
Ew.
Direct rip. But not her, but missing in action. So, Josh, you liked him, but he was MIA for a little while. But any other standout kids? Maybe little British boy here? He's British because he's wearing a
No.
World Cup shirt.
No, that's
You don't like the Brits.
And he brings up cricket earlier too.
Well, yeah, it's like cricket. So
Is this like cricket?
he's not a fan of the Brit here because Sam, he's known for being anti-colonialist. He's just like, I hate these Brits. They're all colonialists. It's just a tragedy. Sam, any other standout children?
No, I'm trying to in my head. I'm trying to go through.
Well, there's the fattest kid on camp who barely speaks.
Yeah, but he cries a lot. He
cries a
there's
lot.
A lot of.
I mean,
a
can't
lot
you
of
relate to
scenes where
that?
He's kind of tearing up.
Can't you relate to that? Have you ever?
No, it's basically Josh. I gotta be honest. I didn't even know about the The main.
What
the
about
main
Salami
kid,
Sam?
I don't like that much, and I don't even know his name.
It's Jerry.
Oh, Jerry. That's
What about
that
spelled
is
with a
not
G?
That is not an 8-year-old
Spelled with a
kid's
G.
name. Man.
Well, he's 11, so it's fine.
Gerald
well,
Jerry
excellent.
Garner.
What about Salami Sam?
Salami Sam.
Do you remember Salami
I
Sam?
like his attitude. Yeah.
You remember Salami Sam?
Yeah. Salami Sam Dampler.
I looked that actor up. I was like, I swear he's been in other things. He has not been in other things. He just looks like a lot of fat kids.
Yeah.
I
like his look. He looked like the most normal fat kid.
And what's the kid that that meets him on the plane? What's his name?
That's Kenan
Kenan
Thompson.
His character's name is Roy Murphy.
Yeah, I kind of.
Oh, look, he's crying again.
Yeah, seriously.
Sam's like, I do not stand criers.
Seriously.
He's a wimp, and he should not be allowed at camp.
What, the fattest kid?
Yeah, Sam's not up for criers. Now this is crazy. This is so great. Like I like how
God.
Tony. Like, what does he think he's gonna happen here?
Yeah,
Like,
he's already been unmasked.
He's so crazy. I love the voice too. The cinematography, the editing. Like it's just so like yeah. The villain was a bit over the top,
Looking all electrocuted and
and he's bleeding.
We're watching this
God.
mute. It's like I can't quite remember his voice, so I'm just putting in Derek Zoolander's voice.
Googly googly.
The villain was a bit over the top.
That's not Derek Zoolander.
Yeah, maybe
It's
not.
It's hard to do Zoolander if you're not.
It's been a
Zoolander.
while since I've heard the voice.
Yeah, I always think with Zoolander, my favorite gag in that is the one where they talk about like models assassinating everyone, and they're like, and JFK. But wait a moment, Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't a model. No, he wasn't. But those two lookers at the grassy knoll sure the hell were. And it cuts to like two models at the grassy knoll high fiving, and I just love that gag. There he is. Look, look at him. He's so
Throwing the
crazy.
glasses.
And Ben Stiller's a little man as well. Like he's not a tall guy. He's a little man, but he's like a little fireball man. Like Jeffrey Tambor is a tall guy, and he still takes on Jeffrey Tambor. Bam. He got Houdini'd. That's why he couldn't backflip. He got punched in the stomach. It couldn't. It slowed down his backflip abilities. But you know what happened to Jeffrey Tambor?
That one's Salami Sam.
He got.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that is a Star Trek reference.
The white one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he did do a Star Trek reference.
What was it?
It was the famous double karate chop that William Shatner's character Captain Kirk is famous for doing, as other than his double fist move where he clamps his fist over another fist and does a single hit. He did a karate chop there, Bartek. So there you go. There's the Star Trek reference. It was small, but I noticed it. Hey, Stan Lee's here. Oh wait, no, it's Ben Stiller.
Oh, hey.
Hey, what? He would have been alive in the 90s. What, too soon?
He wouldn't have been a small child like Ben Stiller.
Dude, he was in diapers. Or nappies.
He was too busy being in mole rats or something. I love the design of what his father looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Like the white chest hair and like the bald, and it's like this weird amount of hair where there's enough for there to be a comb over, but it's all this weird white and this whole aesthetic, and I love the voice too. Like, it's just
Yeah,
like,
of course. He has to sound like he's punched like 20 dogs a day. Every day.
every day he's partying to the max. Are we happy that Pat got to be in charge at the end? Did it bring up?
Oh, I am, because, I mean,
Of course.
you know, we like the character, so we want something good to happen to him.
What else would it be?
Wouldn't it have been a twist? It's like, who's been here the longest? And he's like 18 years, and then another character puts his hand up. It's like 33 years, and it's just Jerry Stiller. And he's been there the whole time.
That's the British kid.
Yeah, the British kid. 50 years, Governor.
50 years.
I know
like
all
a-
the vice presidents.
Sorry, that's the last time we see
Right.
Tony, and he's
That
just like a
it
little
looks
puppy
like
dog. Like,
the
"Ooh."
top of Frankie Muniz' head.
Well, we love Frankie.
I
so-
love his attitude when he's just walking away. Like, yeah, whatever,
Yeah,
do
whatever,
it.
do
Go
it.
ahead.
So, before we get into the movie's wrapping up, before we get into our reviews and ratings, can we talk about the song?
Yeah, in the credits.
In the end credits, they have the song of their school camp song, and it's just the best.
It's better than the Polish one.
You gonna sing us that Polish one now?
Yeah, we're still
I
waiting.
I can remember the first few lines. I can
Give
sing
it to
them.
us.
Yeah, hit me.
Lato, lato, lato czeka, razem z latem czeka rzeka, czeka rzeką, I can't remember the word, czeka nas, no, czeka las, a tam ciągle nie ma nas, and I don't remember the rest.
What does that mean?
Summer's
Dead.
waiting together with the river, the forests waiting or something.
Oh my
I can't
God.
remember.
I love it. You need to
Well, it's and I knew this before we even got into it, but it's definitely better than the fucking Australian national anthem.
Oh no, that's not even their national anthem. That's just a camp
That's
song.
just a camp song.
It's still better.
The
than...
Polish national anthem is
The Polish national anthem begins with "Poland is not yet dead."
yeah,
Wait, hold on. Poland has not yet disappeared.
Wow.
yeah. They're not fucking around. Poland's national anthem. It's just like
Poland is not yet dead so long as we're alive. Yeah.
yeah, it's very bleak.
Back to Peter Dinklage.
The Dink.
That's what killing you means.
So I'm
Is that your famous Dinklage impression?
Oh yeah.
I love that there are just movies with Peter Dinklage in them, and they don't need to reference that he's a dwarf at all. Like he's got to that point of like notoriety that he doesn't have to play roles where it matters he's a dwarf. Like in X-Men, it didn't matter that he was a dwarf.
Yeah, that was a big change.
I mean,
That
the
was a
closest you
bold
get.
decision,
I mean,
yeah.
the closest you get is he's a guy who's obsessed with mutants, and yet technically he's got in real life, mutated genes.
That's true.
There's kind of like an irony there. So.
just to get a bit meta for a second.
I will let you get meta. Are you Peter Dinklage? Are you the Dink?
No, but I'm in real life right now. I'm a little bit pressed for time.
Oh, you gotta leave us.
I'm,
You fucking
I've,
leaving.
I've still got. I can still stick around for 5 more minutes. But do you want me to get like YouTube and IMDb out of the way right
Bartek,
now?
hit us with your review and hit us with these YouTube comments. Because Bartek is such a busy boy. He had a birthday recently. I don't want to spoil it, but Bartek's
Ooh,
aged. And
big
Bartek's
numbers.
Bartek's a big boy who's got an appointment with Jesus.
I've got an appointment with the last bus of the day.
So Bartek, hit us in the loincloth.
I love this movie. If I watched it as a kid, it would have been a classic that I could talk about on this show. But I have to talk about my first experience. And my first experience, aka yesterday, was a great one. I put it on, I lay in bed, I pretended I had wine because I don't drink, and I just had the greatest time of my life.
Wow.
It's funny, it's great, and I'd even dare say it's funny. I think this film could go down as possibly the greatest child classic, or children's classic, that people have never seen.
No, just one child.
Just the one.
Mine.
The greatest one child's classic ever made.
You got us a rating?
I give this film a rating of Hall of Intelligence out of Soul for X.
Thank you. So, what did the internet have to say, Bartek,
Well-
about this
well,
famous movie?
Other than ha ha ha, no one remembers this movie's sad face.
No one remembers this movie.
We have comments like R.I.P. good old times.
Oh,
So that's the one kid.
rip the 90s.
We've also got never seen it, downloading now, hope it's as good as y'all say. And that has a response.
Is it from them?
It is.
You'll like it, soldier from the hit video game Doom? Because the initial commenter had like a profile picture of like a soldier or
Of the
something.
Doom
Must
guy.
have.
The next comment gets right to the point. It's a very quick one.
Hit to the point.
This is awesome movie in 1995 by heavyweights on Disney.
Great.
That it is.
You
Yep.
nailed it.
This one also has 2 responses.
Okay.
The initial comment is, and I'll just point out, the user's username for this initial comment is Muscles from Brussels. Kenan Thompson at Fat Camp, LOL, capital D, so a very happy face.
Yeah!
The response is, chill out, Jean-Claude Van Damme. And there's another response from the exact same person. You lucky you my favourite action star. So if he wasn't his favourite action star, there would have been trouble.
If he was Schwarzenegger, he would go down.
And
Whose favourite actor star is Jean-Claude Van Damme?
And the last comment I have is, this film gave me nightmares. I loved all the other Disney movies of this era, but this, for some reason, traumatized me. Not funny at all, just made me vomit. It might have just been because I was a fat kid.
Now they got bulimia.
My God.
Now, they lost a lot of weight because they vomited so much from this movie.
And
Yeah, by the way, Captain.
That's the look. At the start when they were kind of like, oh, Captain, and it kind of pans to the badge you got given on the plane, I was like, why But
I mean,
here,
would you
it's like,
complain
it
if
makes
your
sense.
nickname was Captain? I wouldn't.
No,
And,
that's a pretty dope nickname.
And the IMDb review is titled Heavyweights, the Movie of a Generation.
Oh.
You're right.
It is from the 4th of March 2017,
Yes?
and it has no rating, but at the end of the review, I believe it does have a number. Yes, it does. And
Hit
this is warning spoilers.
Okay, so if you haven't seen the movie, guys, spoiler alert. Also, spoiler for Endgame, Ken Jeong's in it.
In the spirit of other masterpieces such as Cool Cat Saves the Kids and The Room,
Oh my goodness.
Heavyweights fires on all cylinders and delivers the laughs while still providing beautiful cinematography.
Yeah.
The way you can see the cameramen's reflections throughout the movie really makes the experience that much more personal and deep. I actually cried when Lars popped the Blob. The Blob, in my opinion, is probably the greatest character in all of cinema. He's the most selfless and heroic character I may have ever seen in film. He's there to provide, not take, and the way Lars destroys him is a great metaphor for how mankind is destroying the world around us for no good reason. The message
Sounds like I wrote this.
The message of acceptance is also very inspiring. How these oppressed, ridiculed, and exploited children rise against the norm is truly astounding. Jerry reminds me of Harriet Tubman in how he secretly lets the other healthy, in shape, and intelligent live their lives to the fullest, allowing them to have the most high-quality nutrition that was once thought to not even be possible to man. All in all, Heavyweights is an amazing film for the whole family. I give this a 9 out of 11.
Fantastic.
9. Wow.
9 out of 11. That's perfect. 9/11. Well, Bartek,
Yeah.
you're leaving us.
Yeah.
This is a first time thing where Bartek
this-
is like, I can't stick around for the podcast, but you know what? Sam and I will fill in for you. We'll both be you, and it'll be a
Yes.
one-man podcast. Where it's like,
I look forward to the first...
Dooby-dooba, and then Sam says something in Polish. We don't know the Polish.
I look forward to the
vernacular.
first episode where I do not know what gets recorded.
It's okay. I'll say the final line, and you'll accept it, and you'll be like, dang it, I would have said it.
Edit in me from other episodes for the rest of this
Well,
episode.
Sam, have you ever gone go-karting?
Huge. Not like that. Not flying through the air like that.
So
I
you
haven't.
have gone go-karting
I
is
have.
the answer.
Yeah.
Well, I have
dude.
too, and
It's
I've not
rad.
flown that high to the sky, but it was a reference to Icarus. The movie referenced Icarus earlier on.
I actually made a mistake with that. I thought, oh yeah, I knew that he was making a mistake and mixing the things. but
Yeah, he
I
was.
was like, oh, he's mixing it up with Titan, but it was Sisyphus.
There you go, Bartek.
So I was also a dummy.
Goodbye, Bartek.
Bye.
Goodbye, Captain.
Goodbye,
Wait, hold
Bartek.
on, say something offensive.
Fucker.
Fuck you, I'm leaving.
Goodbye, fuck
Oh,
nut.
no, you've done it. He's actually...
He's gone.
Hi Sam, nice seeing you again.
Hey, you too, man.
He's left us. Sam, we're here alone now.
That was quite a brisk wind when he...
I know, I'm cold now. Bartek's such a fucker. He made me cold, he made
seriously.
you cold. Now, if you had to make a sequel to this movie, in which it was them coming back to camp 30 years later,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, would you still have Ben Stiller in it?
Yeah. Oh, you have to. You have to. This movie would not stand on its own two legs without...
What, you're not thinking you want to cast some new famed comedy actor like a Channing Tatum? Or
Maybe
Seth Rogen?
You know who it'd have to be? It'd have to be the same thing. So Ben Stiller would be like the dad again, and like the dad character's cocked it, but then it'd be his son is like the new owner of the camp.
yeah.
And maybe that could be like a I don't know. Maybe
Just
like
Ben Stiller with a mustache. And he's like,
they've CGI'd his face to look young.
no. He's just wearing like hipster clothes. And he's like, hey guys, let's vape. Like Ben Stiller's like a 59-year-old man.
He's a
like,
real
let's
special
vape.
snowflake.
He's a special snowflake. Oh, look, it's featuring many cast members. Here they are, Tim Blake Nelson, we rest in peace. So the film has come to its climactic
It does
ending.
look like David Bowie, doesn't it?
It does, and he is not David Bowie.
No.
Shocking. I was expecting the Bowman. Robert E. Spencer III. Good for him. Now, Sam, Bartek gave his review and rating. I think we should give ours. We're just as poetic as he is.
Oh, Absolutely.
I'll go first, just so that you can be
You
inspired.
go right ahead.
Heavyweights. Heavyweights. Heavyweights? Yes. It's a perfect movie. This movie, just like Emperor's New Groove, Cusco, the poison for Cusco. Cusco's poison.
You ever see the young ones?
Oh, of course. Of course I have.
Cornflakes.
Cornflakes, cornflakes, cornflakes. Hands up, who likes me? And they put their hands out. So this movie is almost as good as the young ones, but in fact better. Because this movie has Ben Stiller walking on glass. Need I say more? Apparently, yes, because this is a review. I love this movie, and it was great to see this movie finally in its 100% completion, as God intended it to be.
This is a big moment for you.
I've become a man. Now I can shave. So... and go to Polish camp, whatever the fuck that was.
And shave with scissors in your friend's bathroom.
Yeah, exactly, and then get pussy. So, as God intended. So,
as it says in the good book.
This movie has a lot of things going on. It has a lot of heart, but it also has a lot of extreme, crazy, villainous elements. And as a kid and as a grown man, those are the things I love. I love in a movie a really fun antagonist that's tonally different to what the movie is, and it feels like they shouldn't be in this movie, but somehow it's working. And Ben Stiller's performance in this has always stayed with me over the years. I've always remembered this performance and thought, man, I love it when Ben Stiller goes full hog-wild villainous, and I kind of want to see him do more villainous roles in the future. It seems like he's kind of stepped away from that more so over in his later years, but I would like to see him turn up as like a villain again in something, whether it's a kids movie or a proper adult comedy. Either way, I'd like to see it again. I've always thought Ben Stiller's great, and this movie, Heavyweights, perfect. If I had to give this film a rating, I would have to give it a... it's a hard thing to rate this movie. It's heavy, and it weighs.
That's true.
On my mind. If I have to give this film a rating, I would give it a solid fat boy can run the speed of a bus.
Mm-hmm.
Out of a Ben Stiller runs with jazz hands.
Of course.
Now, Sam, let's hear from you.
Well, what can I say? Look, it was definitely the kind of thing I was turning it on. Again, especially compared to 101 Dalmatians, I had no idea what I was getting into.
This movie does have similarities. There is a grown adult who's a villain, and they're fucking crazy. Also, a nice end stinger.
The necklaces.
It was perfect.
Oh god.
So you were saying?
Look, at the first, 10 to 20 minutes, I was kind of thinking, I don't really, I can't really tell if this movie's a joke or not. But then, I mean, when he rocks up, he really does carry the movie. He carries the movie more than the main character kid that you're supposed to be attached to.
Oh yeah, but that's kind of like a lot of
Big
these
time.
movies.
Big time. Like we were saying before, if there was a sequel, I don't think it'd be able to stand on its own 2 feet without Ben Stiller feet.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Maybe if it was Jerry Stiller.
It was silly. It was fun. It was funny at parts.
Of course.
There was some deceptively good acting littered throughout for what I was expecting. And for like the general tone of the movie. Overall, I give it, you got to give it at least, 7 guitar picks out of 1 tortured orchid V
drink. You're just looking at things and you're like, that's what I'll give my rating. Yeah. It's a good rating system. It's a perfect rating system.
At least 7 guitar picks
for that
movie.
Thank you so much, Sam, for coming back with us on the journey. Even if Bartek couldn't stick all the way through, Icarus and all.
Thanks for having me back.
No problemo.
Can't wait to watch Emperor's New Groove.
Oh man, Emperor's New Groove it's got Tom Jones in it, so there you go. So it's got a lot going for it. It has Eartha Kitt as
It's got John Goodman.
It's got the good man.
The
He's a
best
good-
man.
They should call him John Best
I
Man.
rate him highly.
I rate him very highly. I almost good. So, you listening people at home or in your grave have been fantastic, amazing, and wonderful as always. You can find us on the social medias of Facebook and Twitter under Spit and Polish Presents. Rate us and review us on the platforms available for the podcasting variety, whether it's Apple Podcasts, because it's no longer iTunes. iTunes is a dead medium now, apparently.
That's true.
R.I.P. iTunes and Stitcher and all those things. You can find us on Spotify. We're on all the things that you can find the audio variety on. We've got a YouTube even. Find us on there. Subscribe to that. For some reason, we have one and people like it, so you can like it too. Be the cool kid that Bartek isn't, because Bartek is so uncool he had to leave. That was actually the reason he left. I just sensed that he was not being cool.
He's on the bus right now.
Bus home to Losertown.
It's a one-way trip, man.
So until next time, listening people, remember to be kind to each other, or else Ben Stiller will come into your house late at night.
Deli meat?
That's what I was going to do. I was going to be like, he crawls over your bed. You wake up, he's above you, holding a cabanozzi, bends it in half, and just goes, deli meat, and throws it. And that's how you die. That's how you end up in the shallow grave. It's just a shallow grave full of deli meats.
That's how I go back to my grave.
Exactly. So until next time, remember, deli meat!